Hey guys, it's Alexandra from EyeLoveKnots.com. Today we're going to be dressing up store-bought pumpkins with some crocheted leaves and a little bit of twine. I got these pumpkins at Dollar Tree a couple months ago when they first came out. I stocked up on a bunch of different ones because I did not want them to run out and me not get any, because I have had this project in mind since last year. This one is a really cool felt one. I got some that are leather, and this one is velvet. This one is styrofoam. So I got a variety. I've had the pumpkins for quite a while, but honestly I have just not had the motivation. But today is the day. So you're going to need a pumpkin. You can do a store-bought pumpkin. It can be one that you made. Then you'll also need some twine to embellish it, or ribbon or bow, whatever you want. I'm going to show making a bow with twine. Scissors, hot glue gun, glue sticks, and then pumpkin leaves. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to crochet these pumpkin leaves, and then we'll go into how to assemble the pumpkin. If you don't want to crochet pumpkin leaves for your pumpkin, you could use fabric, you could use felt, you could use leather, you could use scrapbook paper, you could cut some leaves off some fake flowers and use those. So many options, but I love these crochet leaves and how they embellish the pumpkins. I just had this vision that I had to crochet some pumpkin leaves and add them to store-bought pumpkins, so that is what we're doing here. I do have two different color sets of my pumpkin leaves. When I was making them, I didn't know what greens I wanted to use, so I think that these two are the best together and those two are the best together, and so I've set them up with my pumpkins. I will link all those yarns in the description box below. And if you look on Pinterest or Instagram, there are so many pumpkins out there now that have all kinds of color leaves, so don't feel like you need to stick to green. If you want to skip ahead to see the assembly, just drop down into the description box below and click on the timestamp for it, and it'll jump you forward in the video. Let's go ahead and get started. Depending on the size yarn that you work with and the size crochet hook that you use, you will get different size leaves. Over here on the left, I used WeCrochet Dishie yarn, which is 100% cotton worsted weight yarn. It is a little bit on the lighter side. Lily Sugar and Cream works up a little bit bigger, it's thicker. But the dark green here is called Jalapeno, and I used an H8 5mm hook for that. The light color is called Honeydew, and I used a G6 4.25mm hook. The difference isn't drastic, but it's big enough that I love it. So this dark green one is about 3 1/4 inches wide by 3 inches tall, and this light green one is about 3 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches tall. Over here on the bottom, this is Emma's Yarn Comfy Cotton DK. It is a lightweight yarn. This is 50% superwash merino wool and 50% cotton. It's lovely. I love it. It is from my local yarn shop for pearls, and it is hand dyed there in their shop. The darker green color is called Canopy, and I used the 5mm hook with that one. The lighter color is called Freshly Cut, and I used the G6 4.25mm hook. The darker green one came out to about 3 1/8 inches wide by 2 7/8 inches tall. And the lighter green came out to about 2 7/8 inches wide by 2 3/8 inches tall. You can experiment with all kinds of yarns and hook sizes to get all kinds of different sizes. I'm going to start with a slip knot, so I brought the yarn over my fingers here. I'm going to wrap it around my index finger 2 times. I'm holding tension with my thumb and my middle finger. Then I'll pull the loop that's on the left up and over the other one, but not off my finger. Then I'll pull the loop that's on the left now up over the other one and off my finger. I'll insert my crochet hook into that loop on my finger and pull it off. Then I'll hold the working yarn in my right hand and pull the short tail into my left so that this knot will go up to normal tension. I'm going to start with a chain 5. To chain, we yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. That gives me 3 chains. Now I have 5. I'm going to slip stitch join to the first chain to form a ring. That's the very beginning chain down there that I started with. Insert my hook right into the center. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on my hook. And now that gives me a ring right there in the center that I can work into. The stitch we just slip stitched to will also have a hole because that knot is not secured. We don't want to work into that. We will secure that later, but we'll work into the very center. I'm going to start with a chain 1, and then I'm going to work 12 half double crochets into that center ring. As I work into it, I'm going to hold the beginning tail end to the back of my chains so that when I crochet over it and capture both of those. To half double crochet, we yarn over, insert our hook right into the center ring. You'll have your chains on your hook as well as that beginning tail end. Yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center ring. Yarn over, pull through. 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center ring. Yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. We're going to continue working until we have 12 half double crochets. Just remember to continue to hold your tail end to the back of the chain so you can crochet over that. There's 12 half double crochets. If you're working with a slightly thicker yarn, it may seem like you don't have enough room to work all your stitches. You can always hold the fabric with your left hand and pull the stitches down the chain. They will squish together and you will find you'll have more room there. We're going to slip stitch join to the very first half double crochet of the round. And if you're not sure which one that is, you can use these V-shaped stitches on the top to count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way around till you get to 12. That will be our first stitch. We'll insert our hook under both loops of that stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop on our hook to complete a slip stitch. And that center ring there, you can hold the fabric in your right hand, pull on that tail end with your left, and that hole will close up. And we'll better secure that closed when we weave in our ends. Round 1 is finished with 12 half double crochets. For round 2, we're going to increase, so we'll end up with 24 half double crochets. And we increase here so that our round gets larger but continues to lay flat. We'll start with a chain 1. I like to split my beginning increase so that I work 1 stitch here in the first stitch to the left of the beginning chain. And my second stitch from that increase is in the same stitch but to the right of the beginning chain. I do that for 2 reasons. 1, it helps keep my seam straight. I know this is only a couple rounds, so it doesn't matter if your seam is straight, but it just keeps it straight and unnoticeable, and I love that. It doesn't travel, but it also prevents a gap here to the right. If you work 2 stitches there into the first stitch, you finish your last increase over here, and sometimes there's a little gap right there. By splitting my beginning increase, it's helping my seam and also preventing that gap. So I'm going to show you how I do it. This is how I work all my increases. We're going to half double crochet into the very first stitch. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, picking up both loops from that V shape. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. I'm going to continue working 2 half double crochets into each stitch all the way around. When I get over here, I'm going to have 23 half double crochets, and then I'll work 1 more here in the next stitch, and that'll complete my 24th stitch, as well as my first set of increases. If you are more comfortable doing it the more traditional way of not splitting your increases and just working 2 stitches into that first stitch, go ahead and do that. As long as we end up with 24 stitches in the end, it doesn't matter. So for this next stitch here, half double crochet into that stitch, and then half double crochet again into that same exact stitch. That is 2 half double crochets worked into that same stitch. That's how we're going to continue working all the way around. And there's my 23rd stitch. I have one more stitch left. I'm going to work it into that very next stitch that you see there, which is going to be just to the right of the beginning chain 1. And then I'm going to slip stitch join to the very first half double crochet of the round, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and the loop on my hook. And now round 2 is complete with 24 half double crochets. For round 3, we're going to start with a chain 1. We're going to skip the first 3 stitches, so skipping the stitch that my chain 1 is attached to, and the next 2, and in the next stitch there, we're going to work several stitches in there to create what I would describe as a petal for the leaf. The first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, then half double crochet into that same exact stitch. Then we'll work 2 double crochets into that stitch as well, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Chain 2. We're going to create a picot here, which is a little point. We're going to slip stitch into the first chain. So insert your hook right into the center. I like to pick up both loops, the back bump and this leg closest to you. Yarn over, pull through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. Then we're going to work a double crochet back into that very same stitch, followed by a half double crochet into the same stitch. Then we'll skip the next 2 stitches, slip stitch into the next stitch, skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch we'll work the center petal. We're going to start with a double crochet, then we'll work 2 treble crochets into that stitch, yarn over 2 times so you have 3 loops on your hook, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are now 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over 2 times, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 2, slip stitch to the very first chain. Again, when I insert my hook here, I like to pick up the back bump and that left side of the chain. So I have 2 legs on my hook. Then we'll reverse that, 2 treble crochets and a double crochet. Let's work 1 more treble together, yarn over 2 times, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we'll skip the next 2 stitches, slip stitch into the next stitch, skip the next 2 stitches, and into that next stitch we're going to work the 3rd petal, which will be a reverse of this first one. We're going to start with a half double crochet, then we'll double crochet into that same stitch, chain 2, slip stitch in the first chain, 2 double crochets into that same stitch, half double crochet into that same stitch, and then single crochet into that same stitch. Insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Skip the next 2 stitches, slip stitched in the next stitch, and we'll finish this out with a couple stitches here along the bottom. Single crochet into the next stitch, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, half double crochet into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, slip stitch join to the beginning chain 1, insert your hook into the center of the chain, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on your hook, and we can fasten off. And I'll pull up on this loop to break it. Insert into the same exact stitch from the wrong side to the right side. Yarn over and pull that tail end through to the back. And our little leaf is done. So we just need to weave in our ends. Go ahead and grab your tapestry needle and I'll meet you back here. Alright, I have threaded the center ring tail into my tapestry needle. For the first pass of this, I'm going to work all the way around clockwise until I get back to the same stitch, and then I'm going to work a couple more stitches past it. So there I am back to the beginning. I'm going to insert into about 2 or 3 other stitches here. And then I'm going to hold the fabric in between my thumb and my middle finger, and I'm going to pull this tail end with my right hand, and it's going to close up that ring. Don't pull too tight because depending on your fiber, you can snap the yarn. I'm going to secure this with 2 more passes. I'm going to work just straight through vertically here through several of the stitches. When I enter and exit my stitches, I do not pick up the whole entire stitch on my needle. I insert my needle in the center of the stitch, breaking it in half so that it captures my yarn better. So I'm just going to work up through several of the stitches I just worked through, breaking the stitch upon exit in half. Give it a tug, and then rotate and work again into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half, up through several of those same stitches, and break my last stitch in half when I exit, and then give it a tug. And now I can fasten off. 3 is my magic number. If you feel comfortable after 2, you can fasten off. If you need a 4th pass, go ahead and do it. Whatever you feel the most secure with. So I'll be working 3 passes with this last tail end as well, and I'm going to work breaking my stitch in half when I enter and exit, and I'm just going to work vertically through these stitches right here up to the center and back. I like to use my fingers to manipulate the fabric so that pull doesn't bunch up my fabric. And I'll fasten this off. And here is our adorable little leaf. I'm going to make a bow out of twine. I'm just going to keep it really simple. I've pulled a tail here that I'm going to use to wrap later. Then I'm going to make a loop here at the top, and I'm going to do a figure 8, making a loop down at the bottom that's about the same size. And then I'll do it again because I want it to be double layered, so I'm just following the shaping that's already there, continuing with that figure 8. And then I'm going to cut this twine off here pretty close to the center. I want a little bit that I can tuck in. So there's where I fastened off in the center. It's pretty close to the center of my bow, and I'm just going to wrap that to the back and add a little bit of hot glue there to secure it. And then I'm going to take that tail end that I had in the beginning and I'm going to wrap it around the center. And I want to cover up that tail that I just cut off and glued there in the center. And then I'll take a little bit more hot glue, put it there, and secure down my tail. And that's it. You can add more if you feel like you need to, but my little bow is ready to go. So I'm going to take my pumpkin. I have decided that I want my stems to be facing up to the left. And my pumpkins have a sort of hexagon shape with crescent shaping in between the points. So I'm going to follow that for placement of my leaves. I'm going to take the bigger leaf, put it in the back. And then the smaller leaf is going to go right here in front of it, just so they're overlapping but not covering each other. Almost like the big one is at about 1 o'clock and the small one is at about 4 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue those in place. And then I'm going to glue my little bow right on there, close to the top. And there we have it, this adorable little store-bought pumpkin that we embellished in just a matter of a few minutes. I'm going to go back and probably tack it down a little bit more with some glue, maybe here where it overlaps, just so that point stays down, and I might even glue it a little bit closer here to the front so that that leaf doesn't pop up there as well. But guys, I am very happy about this. I am so excited. I have a bunch more to get done, so I am going to go ahead and get busy with that. just like that, guys, they are all ready to go. This is my pink velvet one, the wool one, or felt, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I have a couple leather ones. I got gray, brown, and orange, which kind of looks like an orange, funny enough. I am a little bit bummed that I did not cover up the holes from where they stuck the tag in that orange one, but oh well for that. You did see me having to fix a couple of them, including this brown leather one because the stem was coming out, not a big deal. And then I did one more, and that is this red styrofoam one that kind of gives me apple vibes. But guys, I am so happy with how these came out. You're going to find all the links for the crochet patterns and this tutorial all in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.